As many of you know, I use essential oils. And for years, I was probably just like you. I thought it doesn't matter where I get them from or how they're sourced or what's in them, they're just aromatherapy. And then I went into kind of a health crisis and I started really thinking, well, what am I putting in my environment? What are the things that I can change in my environment that might make a difference on my health? And the essential oils was one of them. And it was one of them because I was diffusing something in the air that I was breathing in a small area that could potentially be laced with toxins or cut with something that I don't know what it's cut with. And that could be impacting my lungs and my liver, and droplets could be landing on my skin, and that could be causing toxic overload too. And so when I started digging in, there was a lot of discrepancy in quality and inconsistency across products. And also, what I found was there wasn't a whole lot of transparency on these people's websites. And then I found a brand who was very transparent. Like, you can go on their website and type in your bottle batch number, and you can get the COA for that bottle and that batch and see what's in it. And when tested across 10 and 15 years, their product tests within 1% of the original bottle that was pulled for potency and content. And I think that's kind of cool. And the reason is they don't buy from middlemen, they buy direct and they partner with other people. And some people say it's not worth it because it's a direct network selling market. But let me ask you this. How many of you that say that have ever bought from a brand where you know you're paying more because that paying more purchases something for somebody in need, like Tom's shoes? You're buying a pair of shoes at 3 times their value because Tom's then takes a pair of shoes in their inventory and donates them to kids in countries where shoes are not commonly owned. Or Bombas socks. The price of one pair of socks is about equivalent to 2 high-end pairs of socks, and you know you're buying those socks knowing that they donate to children in need. How many of you have done that? The same thing happens when you partner with a good company. You go and you look at all of the things they do. Like, the amount of research I put in to working with and representing this particular brand was so extensive. It took me 3 years to pull the trigger. 3 years. Because I wanted to make sure that what they were saying was true. I wanted to make sure that what they were doing in the world was good. And I wanted to make sure that it was something I could stand behind. And a really cool thing happened this past week. I had a chance to sit in an auditorium while Mel Robbins was speaking, and somebody else was also speaking, and this person came up and said, "Hey, are those 2 seats taken?" And I said, "No, absolutely not. Have a seat, enjoy." And the guy sits down and he's asking me questions, and I'm answering the questions as plain and simple as I can. And I ask him, what's your experience with essential oils?" And he says to me, "I used to be the head of such and such brand. And yeah, I decided it was time to leave there because, well, there's some things going wrong." And I was like, wow. And he was there in full support of the brand that I've chosen to align myself with. Incidentally, it's one of the only brands consistently used in research of the benefits of essential oils because it's the only company that has any consistency across all of its batches. So a batch from 3 years ago and a batch from tomorrow are going to be super consistent because they're sourcing from the same areas. The other thing they do is something called co-impact sourcing. Co-impact sourcing means that they go direct to the farmer and they see, how can we make this more sustainable? How can we make this help everyone make an actual living wage? How can we raise the standard of living for everyone who works for you? How can we save the family farm? How can we get clean drinking water? How can we get education in this area for the young ones? How can we be of service? And there are companies who have had their products reviewed by independent researchers. And there's one study in particular that compared 13 brands. Only 12 of them are actually listed in the final report, and they say it's because the one brand that performed not so well requested that their name be removed from the study or they would file a lawsuit. Their product is so poor, they didn't want you to know. They were willing to file a lawsuit against a research company. And this research company has reviewed multiple products across multiple years for the company that I represent. And as a business owner of two other businesses, I know that working with a direct sales company, they get to make choices on what they're doing and whether or not they shut the whole thing down tomorrow and go to the affiliate marketing. And I get it. In some ways, it's more appealing. But you want to know what they did this year? They trialed affiliate marketing to see if that was something that they also wanted to invest in. And what they found was their retention rate went down with the affiliates who were boosting their product versus with wellness advocates. Their retention rate went from 78% down to 65%. I believe the biggest reason that happens is because of the lack of education. Like, did you know that frankincense essential oil impacts 44,000 genes? 44,000 genes. And not all the research on that is done yet, but what a remarkable find, right? And you can look up independent studies on the efficacy of rosemary essential oil and antibiotic use, or oregano essential oil and antibiotic use. I dare you, go type that into a search. And while you're at it, take a look at the benefits for good gut bacteria that help produce butyrate from copaiba. And how long has ginger been recommended for an upset stomach or peppermint for morning sickness? So if you're someone who's partnered with purchases from a brand because they are out doing good in the world, why aren't you looking at the good that maybe the company that your neighbor, your sister, your friend, your favorite influencer has partnered with? Why aren't you looking at the good that they're doing? Why aren't you asking them more questions? Because yes, it's not a business that they own on their own, but it is a business that they work hard at. And go ask your mom if she ever made a purchase from Amazon versus what she believed of her Avon representative or her Tupperware representative. The truth is, Amazon published data this year that says we don't care where the supplements come from. We stick them all in the same spot, and when they get ordered, we say it's from that seller, but it's in the same spot in the warehouse, so it could be real, it could be fake. Could be good for you, could be toxins. And I'm not saying you need to buy essential oils from me, but please stop buying the garbage ones that are at the market and not understanding why your toxic load for something is so high. Because that toxic load could be impacting your metabolism. And I'm going to talk about that on Friday the 26th if you want to still sign up for my webinar.